And welcome back, everyone, to the episode 5 spoiler review for Loki Season 2. As always, I am Mitch. You can find me in the socials in the link tree down in the description. Um, Before we get into it, there's the strike talks, right? The SAG and the studios still going at it. These studios are... I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said, right? They're just morally corrupt. I don't know how you can expect actors to just do a one-time payment and sign your likeness away, living or dead, and the family have no say in whether they're okay with it or not. I just think that's disgusting. It's horrific. It's ghoulish, as some would say. So yeah, studios suck. Actors deserve the rights to their own face and their own likeness. And I don't get how a studio can look at, like what ScarJo's doing, where she's suing AI or an AI company for using her likeness and her voice and marketing. Like, then no one's going to be alright with this. You just going to sue each studio into the ground anyway, because something's going to look like what you've done with AI. And with all these protections, like these bills coming in, or executive, whatever the crap. I don't know. It seems like it's a losing battle. I think the studios know it. I think everyone else knows it. They're just trying to claw some shred of decency back. But hey ho. Well, hopefully it's going to be over soon. Hopefully the actors get what they want, and hopefully the video game developers don't take a leaf out of the movie studios' books, because that would be horrendous. Having 2 SAG strikes back to back, oh no. It'll be... No one wants that. No one wants that. But anyway, Loki Season 2, Episode 5, Science Fiction. Science/fiction. Well, I adored this episode. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, it's just filler," and no, just generally being loud and wrong. But I beg those people just to shut up. Learn what filler actually is, because this is not filler. If yeah, there's just no way. I don't get how anyone could think it's filler. Filler's literally a case of, oh, everything stopped. This has no relevance going on to whatsoever. It's not even... It's a completely separate story to what's going on here. This is a continuation. Therefore, by definition, cannot be filler. But hey, people just say the word filler because it's a reactionary thing now, and it gets rage bait, and it's an easy word to parrot without having your own opinion as to why it's filler. Because I'd never be able to explain why it's filler. That's always the funny thing. I'll ask someone who's saying it's filler why it's filler, and then they'll be able to tell you. So nothing happened. It's like, doesn't mean it's filler. Nothing happening does not equate it being filler. The two are not mutually exclusive. But anyway, our cast is literally just thrown all over the timelines in this episode. It takes a slower, more deliberate character focus, which is not filler. Again, character development does not equate to filler. They are not, again, mutually exclusive. But this episode, it raised an interesting question, at least for me, on like, what exactly is... How free exactly is free will? Alright, because you had that, jumping right towards the back end of the episode, you have Loki and Sylvie meet up, and Loki just comes out with, you can't give people free will, and then walk away. And it's like, well, isn't that exactly what free will is? Like, if you're protecting people and influencing events, you're not giving free will entirely. Like, I get the sentiment he's going for, but I just find that's kind of slightly contradictory in a way. Like, it doesn't necessarily add up together, but I don't know. Hopefully this show will explore that. You know, maybe not this season, maybe a season 3, but who knows? I just thought it was an interesting point that it kind of brings up and never touched on again, right? So I know, kind of, but then again, we've got episode 6 this week. I think it's this. Yes, it's this week. Yeah, yeah. So maybe they're going to touch on it a little bit. Who knows? But episode 5 does what I like to now call a tradition for Loki, right? Because this started out as a clever little Easter egg for season 1. It was all in the trailers. Everyone spotted it straight away, right? And people always thought it was going to be a plot point for the show, and everyone thought it was a great idea. And that's Loki being DB Cooper, you know, the guy that playing the money never seen again or whatever. I can't remember exactly what DB Cooper did, but with everyone going across or into different timelines, they do that again, right? Because we now have Casey as Frank Morris, the notorious Alcatraz escapee. Did he make it properly or did he not? Who knows? No one ever actually found out. But what I found really interesting, it's a really slight. You have to really be looking out for this one. But the pen name, at least the pen name that Ouroboros uses to write his science fiction book, is something like A.D. Douglas, which personally is, you know, Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Dirk Gently. I liked it. It might not be. That's the direction I'm going on, because it fits so. Because they're using similar time. Obviously, the MCU's got its own time travel rules, but it feels similar to Dirk Gently, the time travel rules. But I might be looking into that a little too much. But I'm just gonna say it is, because I like the idea that Ouroboros is Douglas Adams, because the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of the best books ever written. So. And I would die on that hill. Now, I'm going to stick on OB a little bit, because I find it really interesting. And the show never makes reference to this, and I assume there's a reason why. But the building that OB's in, and that they all end up in, is the TVA. Right? You look at it from one angle. It doesn't look exactly like a TVA, but then you look at the door, where the shot of, you know, you actually got the door into that room, and it is literally just OB's office, or the mail room, the engineering room in the TVA. So I'm wondering if the TVA's in the quantum realm, right? And it's in the quantum realm, so that obviously everything's just shrunk. And they're just going to shrink a bunch of stuff and lay it all out in a specific way. But who knows? Who knows on that one? That's just not that I need explaining where the TVA is. It exists outside of time. Cool. That's all I need to know. But I find it interesting if that's the direction they're going, because I feel like you don't just have the same thing, the same estate, literally the exact same room, out in time and outside of time, right? And obviously, you know, you could just say it's a fun little nod because Ouroboros technically is the start of the TVA, but at the same time it's technically not, right? Like, he's the one that wrote the book, but he wrote the book because of Kang. He makes the TVA because he lives in the thing, but he lives in the thing because of Kang, right? Like, it's the snake eating its own tail, right? It's all how that goes. But I do genuinely think that Loki is, and I think everyone is going to agree with me here, that Loki is going, right now, he's starting the TVA. Right, the TVA that we know is gone, but Loki is going to be the beginning of it. He's going to end up as a He Who Remains, and that He Who Remains is going to be Loki. Now, I wonder if that's going to be a case of they're doing like, if anyone read the 1610 Fantastic Four, the Ultimate Comic Fantastic Four, there was a point in that where Sue became the Ultimate's Kang, So I wonder if they're going to play with the idea of it doesn't have to be Kang to be Kang, sort of deal. Like, you know, you can have a He Who Remains Kang, but that He Who Remains Kang is Loki. Alright, I wonder if that's the direction they're going to head here. Because that would be interesting, but then you could go really balls to the wall and just say Loki ends up being the Beyonder, and there's the rumours of the Beyonder being like the big version of Kang for Secret Wars. I wonder if we could go full circle and the start of a new Avengers lineup, their first, I suppose it'd be second, big bad is actually a Loki. Again, Snake eating his hotel. We're bringing it all the way back, but spitballing. Who knows? But there's another thing in this episode, right? That gave me an interesting thought to wonder, right, or to ponder the orb. That if Loki does end up actually becoming like the start of the TVA, a version of Kang somewhere, a variant of Kang, right? Does that mean that everyone in the TVA always had the choice, right? Or at least the choice up to his perspective on things, right? Because you can look at Sylvie, and Sylvie rightly points out, if you show someone something like that, they can't unsee it. You're taking that choice away from them, effectively. It's an illusion of choice, which hilarious for a Loki. You know, the only choice he knows is an illusion. But I wonder if that's the route they're going to go with. Because obviously we saw here with Mobius in the jet ski place, which we finally saw Mobius in the jet ski, thank you God. B-15 or Boris, Casey or Frank, right? It's all... You're under the impression he gave everyone a choice, right? There's at least Mobius got a choice, right? We only saw the quick glimpses of them getting, or of Loki getting everyone else, but Mobius, he kind of gave a choice, or at least he's planning to give them a choice, right? So is that how this is going to go? Like, it actually ends up that everyone has had the choice to stay at the TVA, and how is that going to change Sylvie's perspective? Because it's all well and good her coming out here and saying stuff like, oh no, you haven't given them a choice, really. You're kind of pushing them into it. But if everyone's saying, no, I chose to do this, how does that affect her character arc? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to know. Hopefully we're going to learn it in next episode. Hopefully it's not a short episode, because that would be the worst thing for this series, is to dunk it at the finish line like that. But if it's not next episode, hopefully in the season 3 we have that. I think it would be more thematically relevant to this season, right, about having a choice. So fingers crossed on that one. But to round this out, I think this is going to be a little shorter one than I have been doing, because I've been waffling on for the last couple. But to me, right, I'm going to put money on the finale being Loki time slipping, right? I've kind of had this idea before, but it was for this episode, but where he can now control the time slipping. Next episode is literally going to be, what have I got to do to make it right? Right. He's gonna get there. He's gonna do one thing. It's still gonna go wrong. He's gonna get there. He's gonna do another thing. It's still gonna go wrong. And you're just gonna get this back and forth until I'm convinced Loki has to be the one that goes out to the loom. Right. I think the whole reason he can time slip is because he's been exposed too much to the time stream. Like, something's changed. He's had, lack of a better word, he's had a mutation. Right, he's now got something else he can do. He doesn't need a tempad to travel through time and space anymore. He can literally just do it by himself. And I think that's going to give the edge to get the loom working. Right, they're going to get it fixed. I don't necessarily think it's going to work out, but I think they're going to, with how the last couple of episodes have gone for this show, that they're going to give you that impression that he's done it right, but there's still going to be something missing. And maybe I don't know. I haven't really fleshed out that theory that much, but I just think that's how they're gonna go. Right? It's gonna be a bit of a like a quantum leap Groundhog Day situation. I just want to see them do that. I just like, come on. In this, I know it's the low hanging fruit for this season, but it's right there, please. But you know, whatever happens, there's got to be something with Victor, right? Because there's that Variety like semi-hit piece article on Marvel Studios now. Not to say that it's all wrong, but I think a lot of it is missing in twisted context. Like the whole Nita Costa thing, right? You know, yes, she wasn't there for the post-production, but the reason is they delayed it by like a year and a half, like the whole movie, and she had other obligations. She didn't just up and leave them to figure out this movie. Like they knew what she wanted this movie to be, and therefore done it that way, right? Like, you know, it's a normal thing that happens in movies. Like, just there was no need for that in the slides. I don't get why they did that for DaCosta, because that felt a bit scummy. But yeah, because they're saying the whole thing of this finale writes them out of the the major situation slightly. So thanks for spoilers, I guess. But I guess, you know, people kind of figured that anyway with what happened to Victor Timely. But you know, 1,000 different Kangs. But maybe so I assume something's got to happen with Victor at the ending, right? And then Loki like taking his place, and that's why Variety thinks they've written themselves away from Jonathan Majors and Kang. I assume with missing context that article was for a lot of it, there's more to that than they're letting everyone believe. But yeah, we'll just have to find out next week. So yeah. Actually, no, ignore that. Okay, I want to talk about Sylvie. Because if Loki ends up as He Who Remains, where does that leave Sylvie? Does Sylvie just peace out again and go back to a timeline? Or do we have two Lokis at the end of time controlling everything? Does Sylvie then become Loki's version of Renslayer? And we have like her as the general. And she's leading the TVA. She's doing the day-to-day TVA stuff to make sure everything is not as like fascist as it was before. That could be an interesting angle to take there. But that is going to be it for me, guys and gals. So tune in next week for the finale. I'll probably do a spoiler review and a spoiler cast, and I'll get Jared back hopefully for that. I know he wants to talk about it. But between now and then, look out for the Gen V spoiler cast. I'll be doing one of those with Jared this week. That's going to be fun. I wanted to do that week to week, but I don't know. I kind of missed the first like 2 weeks of it, and then I could have caught back up, but I didn't. Oh well, you know. Hopefully next time. Also, I'm going to do an Invincible one as well, but I'm going to wait on Invincible for that season to end, because I don't want to. I just wanted to watch that show and enjoy it, because it's so good. It's so good. Invincible. It's so good. If you're not watching it, go watch it. You got a whole season and a special to catch up on. As simple as that. So yeah, be back next week. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. So bye.